Hello there, and welcome to Music Speaks. This podcast dedicates itself to how music impacts people's lives. For this show, we usually have two co-hosts. My name, of course, is Sean Rancunis, and my friend, Hunter Sagona. Today, we will sit down with a striving and talented artist. Brandon, I am so excited to meet you, and I'm sure Hunter is as well. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Like I mentioned right before we started, your bio is really, really powerful, and I hope that like our listeners get to get a sort of a small check of what I was able to read through because it was awesome to read.
Hmm.
And I think that leads to my first question, which sort of starts out with this. You say in the bio, hip hop is a gateway, and it gives those who listen to your music the ability to see in you. And I'm not the hugest listener of hip hop myself, but
Hmm.
this transparency you're describing, what do you mean by that, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, the transparency is, exactly what it sounds like. I'm completely see-through. There are no lies. I tell no secrets in my music. I'm straightforward. Um, I pretty much just tell the truth, my truth, every time in my music. I just give the listener. I just like what can I say? My insecurities. I throw all out there on the forefront for them
Mhm.
to pretty much listen to and relate to. So it's pretty much just that transparency as a human being. Like, I don't hide nothing. I'm not ashamed to give the listener my 110%.
Right, right. And I love that about the way that you represented yourself in this bio and the way that
Hmm.
you crafted it in that way. So I thought that was really beautiful sentiment. And I'm going to pass the next question over to Hunter.
Sure. So let alone me. My question is, I guess it's more of a bio obviously gives a background both in a biographical sense and musical sense. And my question is, do you think, for you personally, is there a genre or an artist in the pre-hip hop world that you feel was a particular game changer for the development of hip hop?
Um, there I could say there's a handful of hip hop artists that changed it can be the evolution of hip hop. Growing up, I was a big Bone Thugs and Harmony fan. I just liked the whole spin that they were tough, but also were soft in the sense of they harmonized with each other and they started like singing on the track as well as
Hmm.
rapping, and I thought that was really cool. Another cool one was, Rage Against the Machines. Those people, it's just the genres back in the day they mix so well, and then it
Hmm.
kind of corporates with how the music industry is now. Like Drake, he's one of the biggest, hip hop artists out there, and he sings and he also raps. You see what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think you know, touching back on the Bone Thugs and Harmony thing, like they definitely, I feel like, opened up that genre. As far as that.
Yeah. And no, I could definitely see the progression. And you're right, Drake is massive now. Now, if you don't mind my asking, when did you grow up? Like, I don't know how old you are.
Uh, I I always been a fan of music. I always I always been a fan of music, whether it be like jazz or R&B. Jazz for the instruments, and then
Hmm.
R&B for like the feel. R&B gave you like a very warm feeling, you know what I'm saying? But as far as growing up per se, when my mother passed away, that's when I think I started to grow up. I fell off a little bit, but then I also grew up really fast, and music gave me an outlet
Hmm.
that I couldn't I couldn't put into words to people. I couldn't talk about it to other people so they could understand what I was saying, but anytime I could put it onto like a beat, it made sense and people got it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And
Yeah.
I think it's sad to say, but it was probably the best thing to happen to me was, my mother passing away, because it molded me differently and it made me a better person than the person who I was previous to that. So it definitely pushed me to the hip hop world a lot more. So that's probably when I grew up.
Yeah, and that actually. Oh, sorry, there was a lag. I didn't know.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, that actually fits really well with Sean's next question. Sean?
Sure. So, my next question is, Brandon, how did you initially find hip hop? Because you mentioned how it is not good as it is now. So, who
Mhm.
did you listen to, and what group or artist inspired you to follow this path of your own?
Well, Nipsey Hussle is one of the artists that I listen to on a regular basis, and he's like a motivational speaker. He like talks to you through he's 100% relatable, and just a lot of the things he touches on, it touches home with me because he says a lot of pain. He has a lot of
Mhm.
pain in his music, and that's very relatable to me. But touching up on groups who inspired me was Bone Thugs and Harmony again, because I grew up listening to them, and just the way that they can harmonize together and then also be tough at the same time and show both sides of the spectrum, I thought was really cool, and that inspired me a lot.
Right. And if you don't mind me asking, again, how, what, so from this artist to now you going ahead into your own sort of field, how do you sort of track your own progression as an artist? Have you learned any trades or any secrets through the time that you've been working?
I did. My first project I ever dropped was in 2014, and it's called Facing L's, and it's a
Hmm.
triple entendre, meaning, everyone faces losses in their life. I was smoking weed heavily back in the day, so I felt like I coped with that a lot. And then the team I was representing was, a local label around here in Virginia Beach, and people threw up their L's, and it represented me. So I look back at that first project that I did, and it was full of pain. It was full of, I was angry, I was sad, I was depressed. I had all these emotions, and I could tell the difference when I make music now, because back then you could say scattered. There's things scattered everywhere, but now I feel like it's more
Mhm.
composed, it's more like structured, um and just the topics that I'm talking about now. um you know you could tell that there was evolution and maturity from the first project to what I'm producing now.
Right. Right. Yeah. I'm gonna pass the baton back over to Hunter, and Hunter is gonna talk to you about more artists. So Hunter, take it away.